Welcome to Uriah Heep, the Magician's Podcast. I'll be covering every studio song the band has recorded and every bonus track that I can find. Each week we'll go over a new song from the beginning to where they are currently, and as they keep adding albums, I'll keep adding shows. Let the deep dive party begin.
In the magic garden, some were singing, some were dancing.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Uriah Heep, the Magician's Podcast. I am your host, Scott Haskin, bringing you another song from this amazing album, Totally Driven. The band going back in their current state, they're current at the time, and re-recording 27 songs that were recorded by Uriah Heep. A really interesting concept. It's a lot of songs to cover, but I have really enjoyed every one of them so far. We're getting into one of my favorite songs today, Come Back to Me. Really looking forward to hearing what the band did with this at this time. Quick shout out to the Deep Dive Podcast Network. You can go ahead and go to deepdivepodcastnetwork.com. Thanks to Nate from the Deep Purple Podcast for putting that together and maintaining that site. It shows all the podcasts that are part of that network, including this one, and has links to their most recent episodes. So you can, go to each show page from there. You can also go to the page that I have for the podcast at my website, scotthaskin.com. Go to the Uriah Heep podcast page link. And guess what? If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, all the deep dive podcasts are there. Whole network. Really, really cool list of shows. And so check all that out. But I'm excited to get into today's song. So let's just do it. Originally from Fallen Angel, the band's 12th studio album. I covered this song originally back on June 15th of 2021. So, quite a while ago. And link to the original review is going to be in the show notes if you want to go back and check that out. But here is the current version from Totally Driven. I love this. Beautiful opening. I've always loved the sound of this opening. Love the vibrato that we've got on the strings from Mick. Nice, clean guitar sounds. I'm definitely getting 2 layers of electric guitar, obviously some acoustic guitar in there. As far as I know, and I'm not 100% positive on this, but at this point in the band, Mick is the only one that plays guitar. So obviously we're talking about layered tracks, multiple go-throughs of the song. This isn't a live recording as such. There might have been one track that was done live and then the rest were overdubbed. I don't know. But in any case, it sounds absolutely fantastic. And this has always been one of my favorite openings of any of the Uriah Heep songs because you just get immediately right into the emotion. And you're feeling a sense of longing and sorrow, and things aren't whole in your heart, like right off the bat, and you're getting all of that from Mick. It's nice the way that the band is backing it, but really they're backing it. All of that emotion is coming from the work that Mick is doing, and at least 3 layers of it here. I'm trying to remember in the original song, I can't recall if there was an acoustic guitar or not. Like I said, when you're hearing one thing and trying to remember hearing another thing, it's often difficult to pick out all the details because as hard as you try to remember the original, you've got what you just heard in your head. Maybe you guys are better at that than I am. I don't know. But in this moment when I'm recording this, I honestly can't remember if there was an acoustic guitar. I don't recall there being one. I recall there being a couple of tracks. But this, and by the way, the precision on these tracks is impeccable. I mean, you're not hearing any off time picking at all. They're all right there together, all the notes. It's really beautifully played. We talk about, Mick as a great wah pedal player, as a great soloist, as a great, riff player, but there is a precision to his playing when you hear stuff like this that really just it always floors me. But I love it. Nice and clean takes. Love it all. Of course, in the studio, I mean, it's easy to cheat that and, you just do it until you get it right. But I have a feeling with Mick, he doesn't really do a lot of takes. The one thing I'd be curious about was, and I'm not suggesting that they go back and do this again, because they've already done this on 2 albums, but I would be curious to hear the band covering this song now in this kind of situation. Like if they had recorded this as a cover while they were doing the new album, Chaos and Color, how it would have sounded, because they've got such a big, heavy sound now. And this, they were heavy at this point, as we've heard on this album, but there's also like almost like a pop sound or like a modern country sound to this, where it's really not heavy rock and roll like we're used to. It has more of a commercial sound, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I would just be so curious to know what this song would sound like with today's band and today's sound, because they're just so much heavier now.
Alone again, I feel so alone again. With this emptiness, I just can't hide. Picture me with a broken heart, see the tears run down my face.
This is a great organ sound, I have to say. Very soulful and bluesy. I really love that for this song. Love Bernie's performance too. He always does such a great job of making you feel like this is happening to him right now. He is living in this moment and pouring out his guts to you, and just doing a fantastic job. The backing vocals and Bernie's vocals are really well balanced, not just in volume, but just in emotion. I'm really feeling a good, powerful vibe from both of them. A sad vibe, as it should be for this song, but powerful nonetheless. Just realizing the tempo is a little bit fast, but again, thinking about the live setting intent of the album, it does make sense. It's a good tempo for live. I do feel the acoustic guitar is a little bit loud. It's overshadowing the vocals a little bit, which it should not be. But apart from that, this is fantastic.
You've done to my life. What can I do to bring you back again? Everything I had is gone. Everything is gone. Loneliness still lingering on. Everything I know, but I start with mine.
I feel like I am completely out of my mind even suggesting this possibility, because this seems so bizarre to me. But you know what? My ears hear what my ears hear. I swear to God, I hear a female vocalist in here, in the backups, just layered in with the rest. It sounds so absurd. I know, don't get me wrong. Don't write in complaining. But I swear to God, especially on that last line, when there was a vocal that started right before everyone else, just slightly before everyone else, that sounded female to me. There would be nothing wrong with blending in a female voice for a recording at all. Even, the last couple albums, I've noticed that Deep Purple has done that too. Bob Ezrin has brought in a female vocalist to do some of the backing, and it sounds great. There'd be nothing wrong with that. Just thinking about the powerful vocalists we have in Uriah Heep, it would be really weird, and that's why it seems so off to me. I can't fathom them doing that with the voices they've got in this band. Just between Mick and Lee alone would be probably not necessary to do that. But you know what? You do what you need to do to make the recording sound right. So if they did that, there'd be nothing wrong with that. But I certainly would have not expected that would ever be something that would come out of my mouth. But it just did.
We try it one more time. Come back to me. Come back to me. Take a piece of my heart, baby, come back to me. Come on back to me, yeah. Don't you know that I love you, babe? Come back to me. Come running back to me. Come back to me, baby, baby, now. Just take a piece of my heart, a little piece of my heart. Take a piece of my heart, baby, now. Take a piece of my heart, a little piece of my heart. Take a piece of my
Okay, so I don't think I'm that far off. Those definitely sounded female to me. Again, there would be nothing wrong with that. There could have been a time constraint. There could have been a lot of things that would have said we need backing vocals, but we can't get the guys back in the studio at this point. And maybe they didn't get a good take. The producer had to make a decision. It could be all kinds of things, but I definitely think those sound female. If that is the band, that is a pretty incredible sound for men to make, I would say, because there's definitely a just pitches in there and inflections that sound female to me. But either way, I really like this song. I think they did a great job recreating it. The mix is a little bit off balance for my taste, but Bernie really is the hero and Mick is the hero of the song. I think between the guitars and the vocals, I think this song is an absolute hit, a fantastic version. And this is one of those songs that is, along with like Demons and Wizards, which was the first album I heard when I got, I think it was, I want to say it was the best of Uriah Heep that I got when I was kind of reconnecting with the band's work. And this was on there, the original version. And I was just blown away by this song. It was one that I would put on, and as soon as it was over, I would put it on again because I just loved it that much. And so it's like when you hear new versions of those songs, it's hard to top the nostalgia and the connection and the emotion and the memories and all of that. But I have to say, this is a strong version of this song. And I love that they were still performing it live. I mean, I know it was popular, but I love that they were still doing it. And I love that they did such a great version of it, as we've heard here. So that'll do it for today's show, guys. We'll see you tomorrow for another episode of Uriah Heep, the Magicians Podcast. Cheers. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Uriah Heep, the Magicians Podcast. If you have enjoyed this show, please consider going over to Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast outlet, leaving a rating or a review. Be sure to subscribe to make sure that you are notified when new episodes are available. Please be sure to share this podcast with your fellow Uriah Heep enthusiasts and anyone who you think would like Uriah Heep, which should be everyone. And if you are so inclined, please feel free to contribute to the Patreon account. And if you are not a Patreon subscriber, you can also pay through the PayPal link on the website listed in the show links below. I would also like to thank Uriah Heep for their very generous support of the show. And thank you guys for listening. We'll see you in the next episode. Happy days!